Are you okay?
I'm okay.
The town of Hawkins isn't exactly the safest place to live in, and some of that danger carried into the real-life production of Stranger Things. These are the scenes that were dangerous and difficult for the actors to film.
If you're little and you're scared of stuff, do not maybe watch the season. Watch it with an adult.
Number 1. Millie Bobby Brown had to do a lot of spinning for this season 3 scene. During the scene when she is in the void with Billy, her character falls backwards after escaping Billy's grip. It seems like a simple stunt, but the behind the scenes execution of this scene was dizzying. Millie was hooked into a rig that spun her around and around and around. After doing the same shot multiple times and spinning over and over again, the nauseating experience actually made Millie throw up afterwards. And how can anyone blame her? That looked more intense than any theme park ride. Number 2.
Look at hot enough? 220 degrees. We just have to figure out how to get him in here.
While the sauna scene in season 3 was meant to show Billy burning up, the actual filming of the scene had everyone on set dealing with the heat. The director of the episode, Shawn Levy, stated that there were 100 people present that day on a small set that was very tight, and that he got over 100 different angles of the scene. Things got so intense during filming that Millie Bobby Brown actually collapsed due to exhaustion during the scene, and that shot is in the show. Finn Wolfhard caught her and had no idea what to do. You can actually see him looking off screen for help in the final cut, as he was genuinely concerned for her safety. Their commitment to the scene paid off, as the raw energy showed up on screen. Number 3. The finale of season 3 was an emotional roller coaster, and no scene was more powerful than when Eleven read Hopper's note to her. To ensure they got the best, most raw reaction possible, Millie made sure not to read the speech beforehand. She wanted to know absolutely nothing about it. She didn't even rehearse the scene. I just immediately wanted to put a camera on me and find the way I react. And the way I reacted was pure devastation and sadness. So the emotions were raw in that scene for sure. On top of this, they also had to film the farewell scene with everybody. She said they imagined it was the end of filming forever, and everyone started crying when the cameras started rolling. It sounds like it was a very somber day on set.
Hey. It's gonna be okay.
Number 4. The final showdown of season 3 ended in the Starcourt Mall, and at one point saw Billy pinning down Eleven as he was being controlled by the Mind Flayer. This was a difficult scene to film both physically and mentally. Millie Bobby Brown noted the scene as one of the most difficult, because the two actors needed to figure out how they were going to play the scene with the level of intensity they usually bring. Dacre Montgomery was conscientious when it came to not hurting Millie during the scene, but he also wanted to bring his usual level of intensity. If you want to know how dedicated these two actors are to their craft, they said they would run around the mall screaming until they cried.
And we both lost our voices, and we don't even speak in the scene, but we were just screaming at each other.
Shawn Levy described the pair as two of our most powerful actors. Number 5. Dacre Montgomery and Millie Bobby Brown's intensity didn't stop at that one scene. They were bringing their intense energy to every single scene they filmed together. Even if there's no screaming in a certain scene, I'd scream between takes, and so would Millie. We'd scream at each other until we cried. Dacre described the experience of filming with Millie as a significant mental challenge, and said that they both gave 200% into every scene they did together. Montgomery was screaming so much throughout the course of filming that he lost his voice nearly every day. It sounds like the dynamic between Dacre and Millie was truly special. Number 6. Let's keep rolling with Dacre Montgomery's extreme intensity on set. During the sauna scene in season 3 when the kids trap Billy, Montgomery took his intensity to a whole new level, and may have gone a little too far. In the scene, his character Billy is supposed to taunt and yell at the kids through the door. That's what was shown in the final cut, but there was a much angrier take. Montgomery actually headbutted the glass window, and did so with such force that his head actually broke through the glass. The glass was thick and not designed to break, so it was a shocking moment to say the least, and the kids reacted with horror. It was a very dangerous moment.
And it was physically exhausting as well. I put everything that I had into it.
But luckily, Montgomery wasn't hurt. Still, he was hoping the take would make the final cut. Imagine my disappointment when that take wasn't used. Number 7. Another scene, another example of Dacre Montgomery's commitment to giving it 200% each and every take. During the shower scene in season 3, Montgomery was so physically and emotionally invested that he didn't even realize he had covered himself in scrapes and bruises. He learned later on in the day when he took off his makeup and prosthetics to discover the injuries. One particularly gross memory he recounted was peeling the skin off the top of his toes.
I said, "Are you hurt?" "What's going on? I heard screaming."
His commitment to his character is truly impressive. Number 8. Yet another emotionally taxing scene took place in season 2, when Eleven has a confrontation with Hopper.
We went through so many different emotions. We get angry at each other. We are like father and daughter.
It also sounded like the whole experience was therapeutic for the actors, as Brown stated that arguing wasn't limited to just on camera.
We got angry with each other and we would express our feelings on and off the set.
David Harbour also had a cathartic experience filming these emotionally demanding scenes.
It was a sort of unlocking in me as a human being of like a love that was human, but that was pure.
Number 9. Will's possession scene in season 2 wasn't the most fun experience for Noah Schnapp. He had to wear black contacts throughout the day of shooting, which burned his eyes. And he was nervous to have to perform the seizure part of the scene. It was really scary. You kind of just lock up, and I had to prepare for that. A lot. On top of this, it was actually pretty cold on set. The heaters you see didn't actually work to heat up the room. It was winter during shooting, and Noah's clothing was not optimal. And the cherry on top is that Noah joined the ranks of his co-stars as someone who lost their voice due to screaming during a scene. Number 10. When Eleven closes the gate during the season 2 finale, there is a lot of screaming and intensity. It was a difficult scene for Millie Bobby Brown to get through, as it required her to be lifted into the air on a crane while yelling non-stop. In between takes, Millie would have to recompose herself because the scene made her nauseous. I'd have to take a breather, throw up a little, then come back inside, do it again. Luckily for her, the ever-lovely David Harbour was right there by her side to help out, even offering her bracelets that supposedly would help her nausea. Number 11. Entering the void isn't as easy as Eleven makes it look. Millie Bobby Brown was actually floating in a pool filled with salt for this scene in season 1. It actually seems pretty peaceful, but it was a different story on set. It was freezing cold the day they shot this, and Millie had no help staying warm in that pool. The crew tried heating the pool, but it was to no avail, as it was too shallow to retain any of the heat. Fortunately for them, Millie was a trooper, braving the cold to get the scene done. Number 12. When Eleven is in Chicago with Collie and her gang, Collie puts the image of Papa into her mind, and Eleven is confronted by him. This was another very emotionally draining scene for Millie. She got so into it that even after cut was called, the emotions of the scene were still running through her. After filming was done, she went into the bathroom and cried for about 45 minutes. Number 13. A first kiss for anyone is nerve-wracking, let alone having to do it in front of cameras and an audience. Sadie Sink and Caleb McLaughlin both had their first kiss during the school dance scene at the end of season 2. Sadie was actually told about the kissing scene the day before it was going to happen, as it was never in the script. The Duffer Brothers revealed they were initially joking when they told her, but decided to do the kiss for real when they saw how strongly Sadie reacted. To make things 1,000 times worse, there were a ton of people watching, just to guarantee maximum awkwardness.
First kiss was in front of 200.
I love it. Yeah,
and their parents, and the crew, and my mom.
Number 14. Sadie and Caleb weren't the only two that kissed that day. Right before they did their kissing scene, Finn Wolfhard and Millie Bobby Brown shared a kiss of their own. They had already kissed in season 1, but that didn't stop this moment from being very awkward. As we know, the set was full of people watching. On top of this, Wolfhard stated that the gym they were filming in was very hot. To make things even weirder, all the extras clapped after they kissed. Talk about uncomfortable. At least Wolfhard warned Millie before going for the kiss.
He was like, okay, I'm coming in.
Number 15. As we've learned, Millie Bobby Brown has done a lot of screaming during her time playing the character 11. However, season 3 was a particularly scream-filled season for Millie. She stated that she lost her voice 5 times over the 8 months she was filming. But just because filming was over didn't mean the screaming was too. Millie was brought back into the recording booth to record additional lines and dub over the ones she already did. This meant screaming all over again. I was screaming so much during the shoot.
Usually, but she doesn't like this voice.
It sure does sound like filming for Stranger Things was an intense experience. Did you know Millie Bobby Brown tore her kneecap while filming for Stranger Things Season 3 was still ongoing? It didn't happen on set, but did affect the production. She ended up needing a stunt double to fill in for a lot of her scenes. Let us know your thoughts about these dangerous scenes in the comments. And thanks for stopping by at The Things.